Good evening and welcome to The Experts, where we discuss the latest headlines of interest to me. My first guest is a man who is unfortunately no longer with us. Please welcome a very articulate zombie. How are you?
I'm very well. The myth that zombies are not articulate or lazy is a destructive one, and I'm glad that you have me here to...
I'm happy to have you. And your name?
My name in life was Ted.
Ted. My next guest is a world-renowned violinist who performed the only concert on the peak of K2, playing for millions below. Here she is, Bethany Tilperkind. Tilperkind?
Yes, I'm surprised that you're not familiar with my name. I'm a world-renowned violinist, Bethany Tilperkind. People of immense culture own all of my music.
Okay. Tilperkind. Sorry.
Tilperkind.
Tilperkind.
Bethany.
Bethany
Tilperkind.
Welcome to the show, Bethany.
Thank you.
And finally, she's a little girl who warmed the hearts of fans the world over. Please welcome little Orphan Annie.
Ah, shucks, Brian. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
It's nice to be inside a warm place.
Oh, well, it's nice to invite you inside a warm place. First item of interest to me, negative campaign advertising. There was an article in New York Magazine by columnist Frank Rich saying that there's no reason for Obama not to go negative. He should go negative. Political ads should just be negative. If you got something on, you got dirt on your opponent, bring it out there and throw it. What do you think of negative campaign advertising, Ted?
Well, I don't worry too much about it because a lot of it just washes over me. You know, I am a zombie, but at the same time, I'm smart enough to say, you know, take things with a grain of salt. So, you know, I think you got to get out there and make your best argument. I worry about people, and again, this has come from a zombie, who just sort of mindlessly accept political information that washes over them. And so, you know, I don't want to limit political ads, but I do want to say, hey, get your act together.
Do you assume that campaign ads are truthful in any way, or like me, do you just think they're 100% crap?
It's hard for me to tell because most of the campaign ads I see is like if I'm walking by an electronic shop and my head is mainly usually like this, like a lot of the tendons in the back of my neck are starting to go, so I can't keep my head up as well as I used to. So I just sort of like see it like that, and I don't. So it's hard for me to really comment in particular.
Bethany.
Yes.
You think we should pull punches or just let loose on the opposition?
I agree with you that negative campaigning can be exhausting, unlike listening to my Concerto 357. Now that is a valuable way to spend your time. Now when I volunteered in a prison, I played my symphony number 1017, and the prisoners were so struck with the beauty of my music that they one by one told the truth about how they felt about their crimes.
Oh, really?
They were unshackled in their hearts and in their minds after they heard my song. Now, perhaps these negative campaigns, although they are dark statements to listen to, maybe they will allow some people to be unshackled and form their own rightful opinions, as the way music does for many people that hear my tune.
Annie.
Just a slice.
Well, Brian, on the streets, I knew a guy named Johnny Fingers, and that was his nickname because he only had toes and he didn't have any fingers. So he was going around saying a lot of negative stuff about me, okay? And I went up to him and I said, hey, Fingers, get over here. And then I punched him right in the mouth. I think if you're gonna say negative things about people, you gotta be careful because someone might come over and punch you right in the mouth.
Now, Johnny Fingers.
Yep.
He had no fingers.
No fingers, all toes.
So you challenged him to a fight.
Yeah.
Yet he lacked any kind of digits to form a fist.
That's right.
So you attacked a handicapped person.
He was a grown man and he was bigger than me. And he said a lot of really nasty stuff.
And so...
And if I could just jump in here,
Sure.
I know a lot of people that don't have fingers anymore, and they'll get you.
Yeah.
You don't need fingers to hurt somebody.
Their whole arm becomes like a bat.
Just like a club. You can,
Okay.
Yeah.
My entire life would be a disaster if I lost my fingers because I wouldn't be able to play the violin.
Ron Paul, next item. He is proposing legislation this week to require a declaration of war before we intervene in Syria. He's tired of presidents unilaterally declaring war, going and starting military engagements with countries without Congress approving them, which the Constitution says has to be done. What do you make of this, Ted? Do you think it's all right for the president to just go and fight whenever he feels like fighting?
I certainly don't, and I can't believe I'm agreeing with Ron Paul. I'm a zombie. I'm not a Ron Paul zombie. But yeah, unilateral military action is always offensive to me, and I think it's been too long that we've been fighting these sort of informal wars without congressional approval. I'll tell you a personal story. The United States military once lured me into a swimming pool, an empty swimming pool. They put a disco ball in the bottom of the swimming pool, and I, of course, walked over there and got trapped in there. And then they filled the thing with gasoline, and now I'm like being set on fire. And as I'm down there, desperately, not doing anything desperately, just sort of walking around in a circle, hoping I'm not going to die, I'm like, when did Congress say this was cool?
Right.
Like, when, who got permission for this? And it's never approved. It's always like some black ops squad, or more often just a band of misfits who found each other and have to band together to survive. And it's like, no, I used to vote. I doubt I'm a citizen anymore, but I'd like for it to go through channels.
There's not a good, powerful zombie lobbyist group, is there?
Well, I mean, we are walking slowly towards Washington now, and some guys are going to get there eventually. And if they manage to convince some people of things before they eat them, then good.
Bethany.
Beautiful. When a conductor starts a concert, they...
Tap.
Are you all ready? Now, I think our President Barack Obama has an opportunity to
Tap on the...
tap and ask his Congress, what do we want to play? I'll play you a little something right now. Just a taste.
Short. Very short.
It's just the beginning.
Just the beginning of a song?
It's a 7-hour concerto.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, honestly, how does someone sit there for 7 hours and listen to...
I keep my eyes closed, and I have a large ham sandwich before I begin, and I like to keep Sprite.
But I'm not talking about playing it. How does an audience actually sit there for 7 hours and listen to someone playing the violin?
Have you ever been awestruck and completely fulfilled?
I was at a urinal one time next to Gene Wilder.
Are you comparing my music to a urinal?
No.
Have you ever tried to organize a big gang of dumb street toughs?
No.
That's what I imagine Congress to be, like a big gang of dumb street toughs, okay? And if you want to kill one hobo for his can of beans, what, I gotta go ask the whole gang of street toughs if it's okay? I can't just act because he's there? If I run away from that hobo and I go get all my street gang together and say, hey, Hobo Man is right by the train yard, we gotta kill him because he's got a can of beans and we're hungry. By the time I get back there, he's on the train.
Well, Syria is not a hobo. It's a despotic regime that's destroying its own citizenry. I mean, they're killing their own folks. And, if the...
Brian, the hobo was just an analogy, okay?
All right, here's a new one. An article by McKay Coppins, reporter, said he was out there at a Romney rally in Michigan and noticed these people protesting the Romney rally. Holding up signs about being concerned citizens. We are the 99%. Republicans are greedy. And he's just started talking to them and asking questions, and finds out that they are being paid to be there. Turns out they're from a group called Good Jobs Now. What do you think about that, Ted, the paying people to protest?
Well, listen, I hate to think of myself as a cynic. I did die peacefully, and then sadly was reanimated by a curse on humanity brought about by our own hubris. And so, but I hate to think that makes me negative. But my thinking is, like, it's just one, like, your paid political thing was interrupting our paid political theater, like, it seems weird to me to say, I can hold a rally and hold up a corn husk and pretend that means something. But if you stand in the parking lot and you say you don't like it, then that's out of bounds. Like, the people standing next to Romney on the stage are certainly there for their own personal interest. People in the parking lot, they're mad for whatever reason. I want to eat brains and walk slowly forward. And as long as you let me do that, I can't really get stressed out about it.
Oh, well, man, I mean, I guess we don't really know, right, what all the protesters have in terms of political views, right? We don't really know what their views are politically.
We don't know.
We can't know. Maybe some of them would have been there anyway, and Good Jobs Now is just paying them So they don't have to be street urchins anymore, okay? So they don't have to wake up next to their buddy who's had frostbite and now is dead, okay? They don't have to be snuggled next to an alley, wake up and say, oh man, see you later, Snorks.
Right.
Nice knowing you.
I believe that if they're being paid, that it is not necessarily going to be fair toward the Obama and Romney campaign. What I'm getting at is I'm holding a concert on Friday night. It's $50 a ticket. All of these protesters could use this money they're being paid by the hour for campaigning and just come see the show. I've got a gift to share with these people, and I am ready to give.
I mean, in fairness, if you're making $7.25 an hour protesting for a living, a $50 ticket is a hefty.
It's a $50 ticket.
Right. I'm just saying, if you're making $7.25.
It's still $50.
Right. I would just. It's like that's like a whole day.
It's a day of work for a lifetime of memories.
Hey, Hobo Man. Hey, Dapper Dan. You both got your style, but brother, you're never fully dressed without a smile, okay? I got one on this zombie's face. Bethany, can I get a smile? Great.
There you go. Good one. That's nice. That concludes this week's BS of A. Please like us on Facebook, love us on Twitter. See you next week for the epic Season 1 finale of the BS of A. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. I'm Brian Sack. Good night, America. And good night to my wife, wherever she is.